Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of your Buzz You podcast. I'm currently recording this from the middle of absolutely nowhere in Scotland. I've brought my daughter and my dog away for New Year, which honest to God has been absolutely amazing. I'm just kind of in between in my life right now of wanting to kind of go out partying and sitting watching the Hogmanay with my parents, so I just thought I'd kind of take myself out of Manchester and kind of reflect on the year in my own way. And honest to God, it's been absolutely perfect. So been a bit scary because it really is like a cabin in the middle of like nowhere, and I have been a little bit kind of nervous at times because obviously it's like a new environment. I'm a woman on my own, so it is a little bit scary, especially when you've got a baby with you as well. But it's been super fun and just really good for kind of reflecting on the year and kind of planning my next moves with work and obviously just life in general as well. So I thought I'd just kind of do my episode 3. I've made my vision board and everything just looks really clear for the rest of the year really, and obviously kind of going in with a good energy. But yeah, this week's episode is going to be about beauty beyond the mirror. So this is kind of like what lies beneath the way we look, how it's kind of ingrained in us from a very young age. I definitely remember personally kind of where like my kind of thoughts of like looks and not being kind of good enough or and different things like really does stem from being a child and kind of questioning really where that comes from. Also, I think when you become a parent yourself, especially of a girl, you really kind of become really kind of conscious of what you're saying and your words and things that might not necessarily be healthy going forward. But yeah, I always say like the first couple of years of having a child is kind of a practice run in parenting, and I always kind of think that actually we have got a little bit of leeway because obviously they don't really understand fully what we're saying consciously, but I do believe that it's all getting built into their subconscious of kind of what we say. And even now I'm really kind of becoming aware of how I say things. I say, oh, you're so beautiful, oh, who's a gorgeous girl, and things like that, and it sounds harmless, but actually I feel like maybe that's why a lot of people kind of only feel validated based on how they look. So this episode is going to be kind of exploring a bit more of that, and so keep tuned in to enjoy. If you don't already know me, I am Zowie, so I'm a freelance hairdresser and beauty specialist working in this amazing industry, and I have started this podcast especially for hair, beauty, confidence, and mainly aimed at women, but more importantly it's about who you are underneath all of that. We all love to get glam, do our makeup and kind of preen ourselves, but really ultimately, especially these days, it is more about kind of what lies beneath and how we actually feel. But I do know from personal experience that getting your hair done or just having a spray tan can genuinely have an impact on your confidence, and that's not for vain reasons. It's just the fact that we like to look nice and feel nice, and I always just know that if I'm in the gym I like to feel my best, so it makes me kind of work harder and it makes me want to eat healthier, rather than if you're just kind of slobbing around all the time, then it does start then leading to making bad decisions with food and things like that. So if you've ever felt confident one day and invisible the next because of how you looked, then this episode is for you. So I want to start by saying this clearly. Loving beauty does not mean that you're shallow, and questioning beauty standards does not mean that you're insecure. Two things can exist at the same time. You can love hair, makeup, getting glam, and still know that your worth runs deeper than that. This is something that I've personally worked on quite a lot over the years. Obviously being in the hair and beauty industry, working with women all day, every day, I just find that a lot of people, their confidence is heavily linked to how they look. Aging is definitely a big thing with kind of covering grey hair. Don't get me wrong, obviously that's what keeps most hairdressers in business, let's be honest, covering grey hair, and it is the natural cycle of life. And this is what I say to my clients that are kind of bothered about grey hair and covering hair. And obviously people go grey at different ages, people start aging at different times in their life. Stress has a massive impact on it. I feel like after everything that we all went through in the pandemic, that had a drastic effect on people's health, on people's outlook. A lot of people gained a lot of weight, which people think that just because people like put on weight, then all of a sudden you don't look as good anymore. And the amount of things and comments that women talk to themselves is just, it actually upsets me sometimes, because you just think you're doing this job to make women feel better about themselves, and sometimes it feels like, is it backfiring, and actually are people only feeling great about themselves because they're having their hair done or their makeup done? And in that moment you can boost their confidence, but then it kind of, you have to do a lot of work on yourself to be able to not tie that to having your hair done or doing your makeup or having lashes or looking so-called perfect. So that's something that I love to kind of question a lot when I'm dealing with clients. Somewhere along the way we have been taught that beauty equals value, and that's what we're unpacking today. Just a quick reflection moment that I want you to do right now. So I want you to close your eyes and I want you to remember or reflect back to a time in your life, anytime. It could be one of your earliest memories, it could be yesterday, it could be today, it could be how you're feeling right now. I want you to think about what somebody said to you, how it made you feel, how they said it. I want you to kind of go back and just really think and kind of embody that feeling all over again. And then I want you to go and visit the person that you were, whether it's yesterday or 30 years ago. I want you to go back to that person that you once were, and I want you to first of all give her a hug. I want you to hug her like you would a child, and I want you to reframe what was said, and you'll be able to remember it word for word. And I want you to give her a hug. I want you to reflect, and I want you to think about how you would reframe it now, and obviously what was said to you. I want you to kind of rejig it in your own mind, and I want you to see what was wrong with what that person or what was done to you, what was said. So what this does is it kind of heals the inner child that person was. And when you look back from an adult perspective, or your future self perspective, it makes you realize that actually it probably wasn't true and that actually probably the person that it came from, it was probably more of a reflection of them, how they were feeling. So my earliest memory of this type of situation, and there was no malice or harm in anything that was said. It was my own thing at the time. Maybe it was hormones. I remember I was 10 and I did gymnastics, and I absolutely loved gymnastics. Still would do it now if there was an adult class to go to, and it's something that I really would love my daughter to do. But yeah, so I was going to gymnastics. I was quite good at it and learning all the time. Really enjoyed it, and I remember even at 10 loving doing it. And there was this girl in my class, I can't remember what her name was, but she was super skinny, like really slim. And I think that being born in the in the 90s, so this was kind of like 2000, so that kind of era where basically the thinner you were, the more glamorized it was, and thank God we've moved on a lot from that now, because of celebrities and everything. But my mum was watching us do gymnastics, and this girl was in my class, and she was super skinny and very good at gymnastics, and she could do all the things that I was still learning how to do. Maybe looking back now, she was just probably more experienced, but I thought it was because she was super skinny and I wasn't, and that's why she was better at gymnastics. And I remember when my mum came to pick me up from gymnastics, and this girl must have been going to her mum, getting a coat on, whatever. And obviously we were all in leotards, so it was quite obvious who the skinny ones were or whatever. And all my mum said to me was, God, isn't that child skinny? And looking back now, I think she kind of meant it as like it was too skinny. It was maybe there was something wrong with the child. I don't know, really. My mum doesn't even remember saying it, which is so strange because obviously I do, and we're talking 25 years ago now. And I remember, I swear, that was the last time I ever did gymnastics, and I got it in my head from that one comment that she commented on this kid's figure and said, oh, she's so skinny, like too skinny. I took that as that she was basically saying that I was fat, which she so wasn't. But in the mind of a child, these things are built into your subconscious, and they're built and misconstrued to a child mind. So and I never ever did gymnastics ever again, and I ended up with kind of like an eating disorder actually that stemmed from that, where I would binge eat food even at 10, and then I would go and run around the block like 5-6 times, and I got quite obsessed with my weight. And yeah, it really kind of makes you think that just the slightest throwaway, it doesn't even have to be a nasty comment. It just has to be something that can be misconstrued. And I sometimes think now, like when I make comments on my own body, I think, wow, imagine if my inner child was listening to this now. What would she say? What would she think? And I've kind of built my confidence over the years of being really grateful and feeling fit and healthy and strong mainly. And like getting less hung up on exactly aesthetically what I look like. Obviously I care to a certain point. I don't want to look and feel awful, but yeah, I feel like it really kind of stood out in my childhood. So I would love for you to kind of even write it down if you want, like write down the time and something that made you feel kind of like a pivotal time in your life as to how you kind of we got to this point as a society. I think that dealing with women all the time, most women are not happy in the way they look, and it doesn't matter, it's not about weight, it can be their nose, their teeth, their hair, their stomach, their arms. It can be absolutely anything that we have this hang up on. And actually it is literally, the way we look is actually the least interesting thing about ourselves. And that sounds absolutely ridiculous, but it actually is, because we are so much more than just this physical kind of being. And it's kind of knowing that, stepping into your power. And I'm kind of in between both, because I'm very, very spiritual, and I'm in the hair and beauty industry, which is quite opposite. But I'm learning now to integrate them both, and that's what this is about. It's about kind of embodying who we are and building, and hopefully bit by bit, and as time goes on, we can actually remove what is this stereotypical thing of looking great and looking good. Obviously, as you've probably seen, I've got short pink hair. I'm not super skinny. I go to the gym because I love going to the gym. I love feeling strong. I do put filters on my pictures. I do have my eyebrows done military. I do wear fake tan as standard, and I will put my lashes on, but that's not all I am. That's not, if I haven't got any of that, I don't feel less worthy as a person. But I can understand and see how some people do, especially the younger generation coming up now with all the kind of AI and all the fake stuff out there. Frankly, I mean, it's not really any different or anything new. Back when I was a kid, it was magazines, it was pop TV, it was MTV, and it was this kind of impossible thing to be super skinny. I was watching the Victoria Beckham documentary, and she was the era that I grew up with. I remember the headlines coming out about her only eating an apple, and it was so horrifying even at the time. But actually now we're looking back and we actually discovered that she fully had an eating disorder, which was glamorized at the time. She was shamed for it, and actually she needed the help. And they kind of the paparazzi kind of drove her to that, and it's not really any different now to then. We think that we've moved on a lot, but we haven't, because it's just a different kind of form of media now. So anyway, as you can see, this topic can kind of go on and on. But back to the point of, why do we tie our worth to our appearance? And I think it stems from a very young age, where most women are praised for how we look. You're so pretty, she's beautiful, you look better when you smile. And these comments might seem harmless, but they quietly teach us something, that being beautiful is something that we earn, maintain, or we lose. So we start believing that if I look good, I'm confident. If I don't, I shrink. If I age, gain weight, break out, or change, my worth changes too. And I feel like this is where it kind of all stems from. What we're told when we're young, what we go through in school, it can actually last like a lifetime to undo a lot of the damage that is done in school with kids. Like, kids can just be absolutely brutal, and I know that a lot of people do have confidence issues because of what even a teacher said to them, another kid, that maybe just a throwaway comment again. But it's conditioning, so we can undo conditioning for sure. We just have to stick together and think about what we've gone through and kind of use it as ammunition, really, to be able to build ourselves back up, and kind of just see that a lot of the beauty industry profits off us not feeling great. And you'll never see me kind of have this attitude of, you need to have this and you have to have that for like skincare and things like that. Don't get me wrong, there are better products than others for being able to treat a problem. If you've got kind of dry hair, obviously you need a moisturising shampoo and conditioner. There's things like that, but then I'm not going down that road of being like, oh, you need this £300 LED mask to make you age 20 years less. You know, it's just absolutely ridiculous if you look at it from this kind of angle. And this is this is where I want to kind of be like, beauty and self-worth beauty is something that we express, and self-love is something that we own. So beauty can change with trends, with age, with seasons of life, but our worth, that's constant, and we don't become more worthy because we're polished, and we don't lose our value on our tired days, our makeup free days, our messy hair days. I'm having one of them today, and it's sometimes it's I love to get glam, I love to feel great, and you'll kind of know when I'm in that kind of zone. But it's over time that you kind of then learn that you don't actually need all that. But having said that, it is really important as well to do it for your own self and your own good. I feel like it after the pandemic, we all saw kind of what happened, and the jogger era and what comes with wearing joggers all the time is that if you don't feel great in them, then you are going to eat more, you're not going to bother going to the gym as much, and that can then have a negative impact on your mental health as well. So it's finding a good balance, and that's what I found in my own life, and that's what I really want to get across to other people, is that you can have a really good balance and still feel good but be authentic to your own self as well. So it's just kind of reframing that beauty, and it's how you carry yourself, how you treat each other, it's how you show up when no one's watching, how do you speak to yourself on hard days is a massive thing. And this again, through doing the work that I've done on my own self, is that how do you speak to yourself? I think it's something that becomes really evident when you become a mother and you realise that, would I want somebody speaking to my child like that? And it's an absolute no. So that's where you do have to be kinder to yourself in a way of not beating yourself up and not thinking that, oh, I should be doing this. I mean, I'm going to do a whole other podcast on becoming a new mother, because that's just a whole other topic in itself, of this unrealistic expectations. And I genuinely believe that most women have some kind of postpartum depression, and that's my own experience of it. And I don't think it's a depression as you think, as most people would diagnose it. I just think it's this whole realization of you're a whole new self, and it just is such a shock to your system that you don't know what's hit you, and it just wipes the floor with you. And then it's even more important to be able to do things that make you feel great and that make you feel good, but without putting too much pressure on yourself, which is definitely what I did after having my daughter. I just wanted to spring back. I think most women do. We want to have a flat stomach straight away. We can't stand the thought of looking at ourselves in that way. But then I kind of gripped onto, well, I'm still doing my hair and makeup, I'm still me, and it's like, yeah, I was me, but I was completely different. So it's insane, the whole journey that we go through as women. But I hope this podcast has made you feel better. I hope you've got to know me a little bit more. I am going to be doing more and more podcasts on topics like this. Some of them a bit darker, some of them really super light-hearted. I'm going to be doing a question and answer session, a live session soon, where that's just going to be kind of different topics of hair and beauty, and doing tips, tricks, trends, which is just so creative and so fun. So we have to kind of delve into the deeper stuff sometimes, but then actually lighten it back up again, which is definitely what I pride myself on doing. Again, it's all about balance. And yeah, so the general takeaways for this podcast is that if your looks were ever out of the equation, what would you be proud of becoming, and who would you want to show up as if looks had nothing to do with it? If you woke up and that's how would you feel? And I think that that's a really kind of powerful message to get across, because she already exists and she's worthy exactly how she is. So I absolutely love that. So it's not about rejecting beauty, it's about redefining it. And in the next podcast, I'm going to be talking about unlearning beauty standards, who created them, who benefits from them, and why we're allowed to let them go. If this episode resonated with you, then share it with a woman who really needs to hear it. And remember that you are more than what you see in the mirror. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, then if you could whack it a like either on Spotify or YouTube and leave a comment, it just gets the algorithm going so more and more women see us. If you'd like more from me, you can join MyBeaut Club, which is available on my website. So this is a great space for women by women, a supportive, inspiring hub where beauty meets personal growth. Here we celebrate the art of hair, makeup and self-care while diving into the deeper layers of what it means to be a woman in today's world. Whether you're passionate about hair products, eager to learn new makeup techniques, exploring spirituality or navigating life as a working mum, this community is here to uplift you. We blend creativity, confidence and connection to help you feel empowered inside and out. You can join us for tips, tricks, tutorials and honest chats about the beauty industry, guidance on hair care, product knowledge and styling, inspiration for self-love, spirituality and holistic well-being, real conversations about balancing work, motherhood and modern womanhood, a fun, positive and inclusive space to learn, share and grow together. Come and connect with like-minded women, ignite your creativity and rediscover your power. You deserve a community that celebrates your beauty, your journey and you.